Okay, this video was created to explain how the monorail method works. What is the monorail method? The monorail method is the way to keep track of steps while converting units. Each step represents a change in units. All that it really is just a fancy way to do division or fractions. So let's take a look at this problem that we have. So this problem is from your homework, and it's 565,900 seconds. What do we want to do? We want to convert it into days. So the first step is to establish what kind of mathematical relationships we can uh, figure out that are between seconds and days. So what do we know about that? So let's think about this. So if we think about time, we know that for 60 seconds, that is equal to 1 minute, right? That is one time relationship. What's another time relationship we know? We know that for 60 minutes, well, 60 minutes is equal to 1 hour, right? And what's another time relationship we know? Well, we know that for 24 hours, well, 24 hours is equal to 1 day, right? So with these relationships here, we now have enough information here to solve this problem here, because we got seconds and we now convert to days, right? So let's set up our monorail. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line that represents the monorail. And really this is just like the fraction line. So we got the what we're dividing from on the bottom, and we're dividing it on the top. So what we first start off with is we have, what information do we have? Well, we got 565,900 seconds, and that's our first part of information. Now some people don't like it blank down here, so what you can do is you can put a 1 down here. And what do we know about when you multiply 1 by anything? You're always going to get the same number. And really that's just a placeholder just to make people comfortable. So what's our first stop? Well, our first stop is our first relationship, which is this relationship right here. Our first relationship is that we know that we have 60 seconds. We're putting seconds in the bottom because we want to cancel this out, right? We want to cancel out the seconds. So we put the seconds in the bottom. Well, we know that's equal to 1 minute. Now we go to our second stop. What's our second stop? Well, that's our second relationship. Well, we want to get rid of minutes again. So what do? We know that for 60 minutes, that is equal to 1 hour, right? So that covers this relationship. Well, now we got our last relationship, or our last stop on this monorail. What's our last stop? Well, we got our last relationship. 24 hours is equal to 1 day. So now we were trying to get rid of hours, right? So we put 24 hours on the bottom because we're trying to cancel the hours. And we put days in the top. Why? Because that's what we want to wind up with. Eventually, we want to wind up with days, right? So if we start canceling out our units, we notice that seconds cancels out seconds, minutes cancels out minutes, hours cancels out hours, and what are we left with on this monorail? The only thing we got left is days, which is what we're trying to figure out, right? Days. So now what do? We multiply everything on the top. We multiply everything on the bottom, and then we're going to divide them from each other. So if you want to write it out, you could put 565,900, and really what we're left with is days on top, and we multiply everything on the bottom, which goes into the bottom of our fraction, which is 60 times 60 times 24. And what we do is we divide the bottom from the top, and that will give us our answer. So you take your handy calculator and you go 565,900 seconds divided by 60 divided by 60 divided by 24, and you should get 6.54 days. So what does that equal? That is equal to 6.54 days. Now if you want to round up, because we don't have any significant figures here, we will wind up with 7 days. 7 days would also be an acceptable answer. So this is a short explanation of how a simple monorail problem works.